Welcome back. I'm Pastor Ron Buttram from Prophecy Dateline on livefaithtv.com. We're going through a series on the global financial collapse of our world. Why is this? You know, some people, they say, well, we're going towards progressivism, we're going towards communism, and all these things. We're talking liberal and Democrats and all. You know, can I be honest with you? We're facing a world we never faced before. We're facing something that we, the world, are now beginning to wake up to. That is one worldism. Wow, another ism that will completely do away with our freedoms. You see, our freedom is unrighteous to these people. The sovereignty of our country is all reality unpatriotic to the cause. We are facing a world that we never faced before. One that Jesus very clearly said would take place in these last days. I'm going to introduce you to the program today. It's called Expert Duplicity. Expert Duplicity is what? Let's find out. Let's show you this intro on Expert Duplicity.
The darkness shall cover the earth. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. Their feet run to evil.
They're gonna catch up with us.
I would do whatever it takes.
Take what?
You see, mankind doesn't have the answers to the problems. Expert Duplicity. Let's start out with this right here. The next video you're about to see, look at the window inside the Lehman Brothers building again. And you'll see a date, 9/11. 9/11 is when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. So going to show you another video clip right now, and it's called Seeds of Anarchy.
The darkness shall cover the earth. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. Their feet run to evil.
They're gonna catch up with us.
I would do whatever it takes.
Take what?
Former employees in the city today remain shocked. The market's reeling following the collapse of investment bank Lehman Brothers.
You wanted to comment about the collapse of Lehman Brothers?
America's fourth largest investment bank has filed for insolvency, and around 5,000 staff in the UK, scores of whom left its Canary Wharf headquarters this morning, now fear the worst. The billions lost to Lehman Brothers during the collapse of the American subprime mortgage market took its toll last night. Talks to try and save the company, which has traded for almost 16 decades, broke down, and staff on Wall Street collected their possessions, resigned to the fact they would now join the ranks of the credit crunch jobless. Analysts predict worse to come. Some fear a meltdown similar to the collapse seen in the 1920s.
I think it's just the whole history, like 158 years of, efforts and hard work. That's the most saddening part for me right now.
And it's not just city staff who are feeling the effects. Ancillary staff at Lehman's too are also out of work. Freelance personal trainers working at the company's headquarters in London, scheduled to take classes with Lehman employees today, are also out of work. And the collapse will undoubtedly touch others: cleaners, caterers, dry cleaners, even local pubs, and of course us, as the banks continue to reduce their credit burden, making loans and mortgages harder to acquire.
It's an earthquake that we've been waiting and expecting and anticipating for many months now, but I do think it marks the point where after a long lull and a lot more difficulties and some further great risks down the line, that we've seen the worst of the casualties.
The Bank of England today pumped in £5 billion of emergency funding, but the FTSE still plummeted nearly 300 points by midday. Banks were bearing the brunt of the punishment, led by Halifax Bank of Scotland, whose shares slumped more than a third in value. The 5% slump has been mirrored in other European markets as administrators moved into what was one of the US's biggest and most prestigious finance houses, and employees left seemingly for the last time.
See, many people ask me, what is happening? You know what? We're caught in a snare. A snare that the Lord said would take place in the last days. All of mankind is caught in a snare. You see, no one person not our president, not our Congress, has the ability to maneuver world events as our enemy does. Well, who is our enemy? Satan. Satan has a lot of volunteers out there, and they're doing his job. Why? Because, the heart of mankind is leading them into greed, the stock market. All the events taking place have been planned by many men in many different times to do what? So that mankind will fall into a snare of great complexities, war, financial depravity of our nations. You see, a strong America does not need a one world government. A strong America really doesn't need oil from overseas. Yet every time you go to a gas station and you buy gas, you are funding the actual takeover of our world in terrorism. Look who we're buying oil from, our enemies. Look who we're borrowing money from, our enemies. China has become our banker. When we go to war with China, we won't even have socks to wear. We are so vulnerable to our enemies today. Well, what's happened? You see, the Lord has put a strong delusion upon our leaders and much of the world itself. He is allowing them to take their own way and go their direction. And that is always self-destruction. You see, it's very clear. Our bodies are Adamic. They're from Adam. Our sin will surely find you out. Today, our sin is finding us out. Look at the mass shootings that we have. Look at all the things that are taking place. Why? Because we're blind to our own sin. See, a strong delusion to me is this. Someone who is believing in its own lies. They're believing their own lies, thinking they're creating their own destiny. Wow. You look at the news and you look at the faces of the people who are there. I can see it all over the news headlines. So here we are. Expert duplicity. Why? To catch us in a snare. The next program that we're going to present to you is called Caught in a Snare. A snare that the world's being set up. But you know what? The simple facts is this. If you have the truth of God's Word, you're not going to be deceived. It says the Antichrist will deceive the whole world. I'm not going to be here for that. Is the Lord coming? Yes, He's coming. But not until your family members get saved. That's when He's going to come. Oh my. See, that makes it more simple. So Caught in a Snare is the next portion of this series. Thank you. This is Pastor Ron Buttram of Prophecy Dateline on livefaithtv.com. Join us again. May the Lord bless you. Shalom.